Los Angeles is not dealing with minor news right now. This is a real character test for the roster. When you let an expensive pass rusher walk, bet on a rookie developing quickly, watch a young tight end earn league-wide respect, search for hidden speed in the backfield, and still need answers at linebacker, the question changes. Are the Chargers building real depth or piling up risks that only look good on paper? Today, I'm attacking that question head-on, because talent without an immediate answer becomes an excuse. Drop a like and subscribe, because this debate deserves some pressure. Odafe Oweh leaving cannot be treated like some small front office footnote. I understand the financial side. 4 years, $96 million from Washington is a number the Chargers were never likely to match, especially for a player without a long enough track record to make this franchise abandon its own roster-building logic. That part can be debated calmly. But football does not care about a clean spreadsheet when the opposing quarterback starts getting comfortable inside the pocket. Oweh mattered in Jesse Minter's pressure packages. He did not need to be the face of the defense, and maybe that is exactly why he fit so well. He complemented Khalil Mack. He complemented Tuli Tuipulotu. He forced offenses to respect multiple pressure points across the front. Now that responsibility shifts to Akheem Mesidor, the first-round pick, 22nd overall in the 2026 NFL Draft. And that is where the real test starts. Because this is not simply, come in, kid, give us a few snaps. This is, show us signs that you can become an NFL starter and maybe the successor to Mack. That is heavy. Really heavy. Bobby Konak from NFL.com offered an optimistic read. Mesidor may not have to handle too much too soon because of the pass rush depth, and he has incredible mentors in Tuli, who is coming off a 13-sack season, and Khalil Mack, a 9-time Pro Bowler. That sounds good. It makes sense on paper. But when I look beyond the main trio, I cannot pretend everything is completely locked down. Bud Dupree is already feeling the age curve in his production. Kyle Kennard did not show much as an NFL pass rusher in year one. New Dame Tucker, as a UDFA, might push that camp battle, but that also tells you the room is still searching for answers. And this is where Mesidor has to become more than a smart-looking bet. At Miami, he produced 12.5 sacks, 17.5 tackles for loss in 15 games. That does not happen by accident. He arrives with active hands, a non-stop motor, impact production, and the perfect situation to learn behind Mack and Tuli. But learning cannot turn into a hiding place. The Chargers need to see flashes, pressures, adaptation, and moments when the offense can actually feel him. Because Mack returned on a 1-year deal for 2026. He can still play. He still recorded 5.5 sacks in 12 games. But nobody here is naive. This could be his final dance. And if it is, Los Angeles is not simply evaluating a rookie. It is measuring whether the future at edge is already inside the building. That is the aggressive bet. Do not pay Oweh, protect the philosophy, draft production, and trust development. I understand the logic, but the comfortable part is finished. Mesidor has to show signs early, because in the AFC, when you wait too long to find pressure, the season starts charging interest. And look at how the next story changes the temperature, because this one is not about fearing a hole on the roster. This is that feeling of, wait a second, the league is starting to notice what Chargers fans already saw first. Oronde Gadsden II arrived as a rookie, and he did not arrive quietly. He posted 664 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 49 receptions, finishing 4th on the team in those categories. For a young tight end, that is already a strong calling card. But the game against the Colts added a completely different layer to this conversation. 7 catches, 164 yards, and a touchdown. A Chargers rookie tight end single-game yardage record. The 4th highest single-game total by a rookie tight end in NFL history. That is not some cheap flash. That is a warning. And this is the part that has me fully locked in. He received votes in ESPN's tight end rankings, with opinions gathered anonymously from scouts, executives, and coaches. So this is not only fans hyping him up. This is not just a nice highlight clip making the rounds. People inside the league are watching Gadsden and thinking, this kid could become a serious problem. Then you look at the names above him, including other young players like Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, and Harold Fannin, and the debate gets even more interesting. In raw volume, fine, you can rank others ahead. But when you start examining efficiency, snaps, targets, and opportunity, the story gets much tighter. According to the Pro Football Focus-based angle that was cited, Gadsden had more than 30 fewer targets than those 3 and still finished close in production. That is the kind of detail that separates an ordinary player from an underused weapon. And I'm going to say it directly. If the Chargers have a tight end who has already proven he can break games open, create chunk yards, and grow with more volume, then the offensive staff cannot treat that like a bonus. That has to become part of the plan. Justin Herbert needs targets who punish defenses in the middle of the field, attack mismatches, and turn second down into a legitimate threat. Gadsden has the size, the early production, and that spark of a player who can force defensive coordinators to redraw their coverage when his role expands. Respect in a ranking does not win games on Sunday. Anonymous votes do not convert third downs. But when the league starts whispering before a player completely breaks out, that is when a smart team speeds up the process. The Chargers cannot wait until everybody discovers Gadsden and then act like they had a gem all along. The time to increase his role in the offense is before the breakout becomes obvious. Take a breath and pay attention to the type of name many people skip over in July. Amar Johnson. Not a huge headline, not a signing that sets social media on fire, but a roster that wants to survive in the AFC has to find affordable speed, useful depth, and players who fit the system before the conversation becomes popular. Johnson comes from South Dakota State, stands 5'9" and weighs 205 pounds, with a long 52-game college career, and he finished his final college season with 1,222 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns. That shows volume, durability, and production. Then, after going undrafted in 2025, he joined the Green Bay Packers, got into the preseason, and made noise exactly the way a back-end running back has to. 115 yards on 22 carries, 2 touchdowns, plus 2 catches for 21 yards. In the opening game, he led the team in rushing yards and scored the only touchdown. That gets your attention. But the trait that really fits the Chargers is the speed. Johnson ran a 4.39 in the 40. In this running back room, that would trail only Keaton Mitchell. And now, with Mike McDaniel running the offense, the read changes dramatically compared to when Johnson arrived, back when Greg Roman was still there. McDaniel loves space, angles, horizontal speed, and threats that stretch a defense. A runner who can beat defenders to the edge and punish bad angles has a much better chance to look interesting inside that offensive lab. But I'm not selling Johnson as a ready-made answer, because that would be forcing the issue. His concern is obvious. Limited usage as a pass catcher at South Dakota State, with only 50 catches in 52 games. In today's NFL, if a running back cannot show value in the passing game, he has fewer ways to survive on a roster. So the honest scenario is practice, development, and quiet pressure. He can remain on the practice squad, learn behind Keaton Mitchell, and try to prove that his speed is not just a workout number. Bolt Crew, remember the name and comment whether you would bet on that kind of hidden burst, or whether the Chargers need someone more complete right now. The fourth story is quieter, but it might be one of the most dangerous if the Chargers act like everything is already fixed. The inside linebacker room. Looking toward 2026, yes, there is structure. Daiyan Henley is entering the final year of his rookie contract and has a path toward a bounce-back season. Denzel Perryman returned on a one-year deal and can still help against the run. Troy Dye looks like the natural favorite for the first rotational role. Junior Colson, Marlowe Wax, and Lander Barton complete a competition that looks strong on paper, but on paper has already caused plenty of problems for Chargers fans before. Perryman is the name that brings experience, physicality, and instincts. Nobody has to diminish his history to recognize the main point. He is entering his age 34 season, and the production no longer suggests a long-term solution. In 2025, when he was available for 10 games, he recorded 30 solo tackles, 16 stops, and played 52% of the defensive snaps. He was useful. He was solid in certain moments, but that one-year return feels more like postponing the problem than solving it. So the question cannot be ignored. Who takes that spot when the bill finally comes due? Henley is probably an extension priority after the season if he confirms the level expected from him. He has the production, athleticism, and profile to remain part of the defensive core. Dye showed value in 2025, especially as a situational pass rusher and run defender, and he is also entering the final year of his contract. If he proves he can become more than a rotational piece, the conversation changes. But Colson is the name that makes this room more uncertain. As a rookie, he recorded 29 combined tackles in 11 games, but he missed all of 2025 with a severe shoulder injury. He is back practicing, and that is encouraging, but returning to practice is not the same as handling a heavy run defense workload in the NFL. Marlowe Wax and Lander Barton bring more competition, and I like that. Good defenses do not operate with reserved seats, but competition only solves a problem if somebody actually rises. If everyone remains interesting, but nobody becomes dependable, the Chargers will enter 2027 staring at the same hole with less room to move. So this camp is not just about who makes the roster. It is about succession. It is about learning whether Perryman is a bridge toward an organized transition, or whether Los Angeles is simply pushing an uncomfortable decision farther down the road. And for a team that wants to seriously attack the AFC, inside linebacker cannot remain a gray area forever. When you put this entire news cycle together, Los Angeles receives a hard message. The potential is there, but nobody wins anything by simply looking well built. Mesidor has to prove the edge bet was not wishful thinking. Gadsden has to become a central piece, not an occasional surprise. Amar Johnson has to turn speed into actual usefulness. And the linebacker room has to reveal successors before Perryman becomes a delayed bridge. That is the point, Chargers fans. The window does not wait for every player to mature at the perfect pace. It charges you. If you want to follow this season without the filter, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay with me because every signal matters now.